I'm not formal.
Peter,
Nice
thank you. Thank you for coming on. How are you doing today?
I'm okay. Today's a big day. It is the end of the quarter. So I'm a trader, right? We're here on the floor of the stock exchange. And so even though this is not my whole life, it is a big part of my life. So for me, and today is like the Super Bowl of trading, right? So the end of the
Super Bowl of trading.
Correct. So the end of each quarter for us as traders, I built a trading strategy about 16 years ago around the S&P 500. And so every quarter, the S&P 500 is rebalanced. And so when these events happen, they are the big days. And so there's a lot of pressure and there's a lot of trading, and they can either make me or break me. And so today was a make or break day. And it was more a make than a break.
I love that for you. Thank you so much. So like any Super Bowl, how do you prep? Do you have like a morning routine? Do you wake up? Do you go to the gym? Do you have a good croissant and bagel in the morning?
You know what? That's good. It's an interesting question. My rituals are changing now. I'm going through a lot of sort of spiritual, emotional, unhingedness to a certain extent, trying to settle into new rituals. But, it is sort of a power move. I mean, I wake up. No, I've not been eating a lot, and that's a problem.
Okay.
Right? I do have, my son is my partner. He works with me here on the floor. He's 30 years old. And so because of all these issues I've had around COVID and whatnot, I've had some swallowing issues. So eating has been a bit of I've lost like 60 pounds in the last year. So that's been problematic. So I'm trying to get super healthy to really build up my stamina, which is a big deal. So my morning, basically, I get up. What do? I get up and I pray. Then I sort of get dressed. I have an outfit that I wear. If you looked at my closet, it's like Superman. I have all the same things, 10 of the same things, because it's like my power outfit.
Absolutely.
It's what I wear, certain things that are sort of lucky for me. They give me, it's almost like a blanket of confidence, right? It's super important for me when I wake up in the morning to attack the day with gratitude and confidence.
Yes.
That's how you go into any day.
Absolutely.
Some days you feel it, some days you don't, but if you don't feel it, you got to fake it till you make it kind of thing. So then what do I do? I sort of, jump up and down. I do a little bit of exercise. I haven't been getting to the gym as much lately. I hop into a car. I come down to work. I sort of prep for the day. My son is my partner, so I come into the firm. We have an amazing group of younger guys. We started working for a new company recently. And for me, this room, which is historic, right? It's been around since 1903.
Yes.
It is the most powerful financial it is really the linchpin of capitalism in so many ways, but it's also the history, the people who have walked these floors. I've been here for, some say 137 years, but probably only about 40. But for me, this place, I mean, I come here whether I've lost somebody, whether I'm broke or I'm comfortable or I'm having a good day or a bad day. For me, it's exactly my safe space, but it's also my motivational space.
Yeah, so it vibes you, gives you the energy that you need. You, as you can tell, are quite an energetic person. It seems like you like to be your authentic self. Have you always had that level of confidence where you can just show up and be who you are? Or is that kind of gone through failures, mistakes, and pivots, and now, with your experience, you're like, I am firm in my footing?
I love that question because I have a daughter who's 25. And she sees me go through what I do. So I do, just so you know, I mean, I'm on the board of a number of companies. Most of them are all women-owned companies. So I'm a big supporter of women and their scholarship and their lives. I run an academy to teach people to trade. I do motivational speaking. I do all of that. So people who don't know me or who do know me see me as somebody who's got super high adrenaline, super high confidence, can get things done like nobody else.
Yes.
The schedule is unmatched. And so my daughter actually recently said, it's like, where do you get that? Do you always, are you as confident as you come off as?
Yeah.
And I had to say to her that I've been doing this for years and decades, and still to this day, every day, I still wake up with butterflies in my stomach, approaching the day like, I know I'm going to do it. Some days I'm a little more confident than others, but I've learned, I have mentors. I'm a big team player. I have people who have helped me spiritually, emotionally, through my life, right? I've had ebbs and flows. I've had good times and bad times. There was a period in 2006 where my business failed and I wasn't making money. I came to work for 3 years, never told anyone I wasn't making any money. I just showed up because I know opportunity is not going to find me hiding at home. I had to be out on the streets, walking around, coming to work, knowing that opportunity comes to those who are looking for
Absolutely.
it.
So you put in the work, you ask for help, which is what I'm also hearing, and you stay
Yes.
curious. Individuals always ask, and I'd love to bring this question to you, is how do you build out that network? How do you go and ask for help? How do you find that mentor, especially when you are scared of rejection or you're scared of them saying, not right now, the door is closed?
So what I started to say was that for me, I've been lucky. If you put yourself out there, energy-wise, vulnerability-wise, it will come back in spades. Not necessarily. I mean, karma perhaps is part of it, but also just letting people know who you are, right? When you're feeling confident and when you're not. What I was going to say was, so there was a period of time, I got COVID, I got very sick. They did not think I was going to survive. And I was sitting at home alone. My wife and children were away because I had to be isolated. It was literally March 15, 2020. Yes. And I had my phone and me in a dark apartment in New York City. And, you know, people started popping up on my phone. One of these people was a gentleman named David Meltzer. David Meltzer was a gentleman who the movie Jerry Maguire was written about.
Yeah.
So he was a guy who had grown to great wealth at the age of 28. He was a sports management guy, whatever, grew to be $100 million fortune, and then lost it all.
Yes.
Bankrupt, zero.
Yeah.
And then rose himself up, picked up the ashes of his life, and now is basically a motivational speaker and a coach to people around the world. He popped up in my phone and we just connected. I reached out to him. And it was just one of those moments where it was just, hey, bud, where I needed him. He came to me. It was one of those godly moments in a big way. And we connected. We got on the phone and we chatted and we've been friends ever since. What he says is that those feelings of, yes, Bobby, good luck, safe travel. When you have those moments of the butterflies in your stomach, those are not moments where you feel less than or your self-esteem is questioned or whatnot. That means, excuse my language, that means you're about to do some epic shit, right? So when your body is feeling that,
it's getting ready.
Exactly. The disruption,
yes.
Right? We know with soil, if you ever planted a plant, in order to get things to grow, you disrupt the soil. So that's that, right. So when you are in that state of disruption, it doesn't mean that things are going to not go well. It means something major is about to happen. So it's all about the mindset. If you're able to twist things around, look, I'm a firm believer we learn way more from failure than we do from success.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's the paradox of life in so many different ways. So I walk facing forward. I don't stare at my shoes. I know that opportunity will find me if I go out and put myself out there. I surround myself with people who are doing good things. So one of David Meltzer's quests, now that he's sort of put his life back together, was to bring joy and happiness to 1 billion people. That's his mission, right? And as simple and as sort of kitschy as that may sound, it's the way it is. Absolutely. One person at a time, communicating with another and bonding, connection, right? Connection is the key to me. I'm known as the connector.
Well, thank you. And even that, I mean, for anyone listening and watching, obviously I met you on Tuesday. We had a great chat through JD. And then it's a Friday and we are having this interview very much because you paid it forward. And I'm really grateful.
Yeah.
You said one thing that really kind of struck my mind, which was kind of putting yourself out there. And you are not shy of putting yourself out there. You have content.
By no means am I shy.
Memes, you have your own brand.
Yeah.
Has that been intentional? Did that kind of come about and you just went, yeah, I'm going to go with the flow?
To think that it just happened on its own, no. I'm a firm believer in circumstance and in situation, right? Nothing happens by accident. So, whether did I control the planets to be aligned the way they did? In some way, I must have. Did I do it consciously? Probably not. Did I wake up every morning knowing that if I don't put myself out there, nothing good is going to come to me? Yes. Did I fall and get up and try again? Absolutely. So I did the right things along the way. I'm not the greatest at asking for help, but I let people know who I am so that those seeing me in that spot. So look, when we feel vulnerable, when we feel less than, when we feel, when we do need help, we tend to isolate.
Absolutely.
We don't go out there. So I've sort of made it clear to my my circle that if you see me that way, don't wait around for me to ask for that help. If you need to kick my chair to get me to do stuff, go for it, because I will never judge you, never get angry at you, because I can't do this alone, right? I've had so much adversity in my life, so many great things, but also adversity. I lost both my parents. They lived a beautiful, long life. I lost my brother. He was 60, he had cancer. I lost my wife. I mean, I had COVID. So there's all these things that I've had wonderful things happen. Did I all set this up on purpose? No. But did the chain of events happen in a way that has brought me here? And each time I see, I'm a very result-driven person.
You must be results-driven because you're working at the New York Stock Exchange. Now, I've seen some of your videos and content online, and people, are watching and thinking, how do you feel so confident putting yourself online? How do you feel confident taking videos and being so energetic? Don't you feel like the fear of judgment or people not engaging with your content or not taking you seriously? And I only say that because a lot of the young generation, that is how they feel. So we are in a space where you need a TikTok, you need an Instagram, you need a Snapchat, you need a Be Real, you need a LinkedIn, just to get by in your everyday activity, which is outside of actually knowing what your job is and doing your job.
So I was not always this way. I was always a boisterous, sort of loud, obnoxious guy. I was not always as confident about speaking and stuff like that. My journey here on the stock exchange since 1985, in 2007. So there was never usually a lot of press down here.
Yes.
In 2007, a photo was taken of me on the floor. I was standing there like this.
Yeah.
It really did not have much to do with the fact that the market had crashed that day. But they, of course, took the picture. It went viral. It was actually pre-viral.
Yeah.
It was on the Daily News or something. And then the next day, the competitive newspaper saw me and said, wow, let's go find this guy. And they came and did a story about me. And that kind of started sort of this journey of me being the visual face of the stock exchange.
Yes.
And then a number of reporters from the floor, who were German reporters, foreign correspondents, came to me and asked me to would interview me. And so my tack on the market is a lot different than a lot of these people who are on TV. So for a while, I did not think I had that much to say because my opinions and things were a little bit different. I'm also bound a lot by restriction because I'm a regulated broker. So I wasn't allowed to say a lot of things. But I would do the interviews. We'd have fun. And then I ended up those reporters left and went back to Europe. And I started to do a YouTube channel, which was a humorous one. It was called the Einstein of Wall Street. And I did it with a German accent. And I always I never take myself too seriously. And I started to do this and the response was good. So I slowly put myself out there.
Absolutely.
The response was good. And there was a gentleman who came out and made this some fun emoji of me, and that became my brand. And so it's been sort of a slow, nice work. But then what turned out was that I'm not your normal character down here.
It doesn't look like it, absolutely.
Right.
And we've had some of the other interviewees who are a little bit more blazer, suit, tie.
Correct.
They look and feel different.
Correct. They're very Wall Streety in that way. And so that, in this wild world we live in, that became an attractive thing to people as they're looking for a little more disruption. But so, I get a great kick out of it.
Yes.
The social media thing. When I got into it, I was a little aged out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I had heard, but for me, I've got so many interests and there's so many different parts of my personality, and it just kind of clicked.
Absolutely.
And then I saw the results and I saw the things went viral, and then I thought, okay, I do have something to say, and people responded well.
Absolutely.
If somebody says something mean to me on social media, I have 180,000 followers, right? I've had millions of views on TikTok. One person says something mean, it hurts my feelings. Trust me, right? Now, does it stop me from doing what I'm doing? No. I've also learned that you don't engage the crazy.
Yeah.
So if somebody does say something, I just say goodbye, good luck, have a nice day, and I don't really respond to it. So I don't engage.
Thank you for being so honest and transparent just in that too. You raised an earlier point. I've got two questions left.
Yep.
One is the fact that you are, really encouraging of women being in these spaces. How do you get more women, and how do we think we can change that and get more women into the trading floors, into being analysts, into being confident in sharing their opinions even online?
So literally, I do it sort of one group at a time. My obviously I had a wonderful wife and a daughter. So and they I've always been a lover of women. So in my workplace, I was very aware of the fact, especially here on Wall Street over the years, that this was a very men-centric business. And, and that didn't seem right to me, and it didn't make any sense to me. I happen to be very close friends with the few women that have been in this industry, and so I don't know what it was. It's just basically my human nature that I'm a firm. Look, my mother was a powerful woman.
Yes,
she was. And so we are a function of our role models.
Absolutely.
And I were super close, so she was one of my big motivators. And so from Wall Street's point of view, I slowly, one company at a time, I've met women who really super impressed me, and I decided, as you'll see me do with a lot of things, when I take on a project, when I see an injustice, when I see something that I really feel worth doing, I'm a people person. I consider myself a humanist. Right? And so when I see an opportunity where I can, look, as I said, we were just chatting, I don't need to be the guy who dies with the most toys. I'm the firm believer that at the end of the journey, if I've empowered people to be their best self, and together we've had a really good time along the way, then I've done my job.
Absolutely.
So the fact is, if I can help empower women in this industry, for sure, in art, in social media, whatever it may be, I'm a firm believer in doing it. There's a company called Alenia, two young women, one young Pakistani lady and an Israeli woman who started a new trading app called Alenia for first-time women investors.
Very cool.
I'm on the board there. People should know about that. I'm on the board of Boss Beauties. It's a company to empower young women's scholarship.
Very nice.
Which is a big part of my life over the last number of years. So look, if we can't do this alone.
Absolutely.
I'm a big team player. I think women are extraordinary, and sometimes men can be not the greatest people in the world. So and look, where I see failings and where I see a lack of, look, it would be great if we had more. I don't know if you used the word feminine, but women and energy and input in this industry, because it hasn't been here. So why wouldn't I want that?
Absolutely. And my last question to you is, what is the one thing you've learned about yourself through the many adversities you've had, but the fact that you keep kind of coming back up and keep bouncing back up? So in simple terms, what is the one thing you've learned about yourself whilst you've been in this business for so many years?
I think I don't think it had to do with this business, although in this business I've had success and failure. I probably think it's what I learned from my parents, right? We have that ingrained DNA of being incredibly spiritually resilient and being survivors. Those are my two, that's my secret sauce, right? And so, my parents survived what they survived, and they would always say that they are here to tell the story of those people who could not tell their story, right? To bear witness to what happened then. And to also to show other people what is possible. People have adversity and people think, well, if that happens to me, I can't go on, or that happens to me, I will never do that. I can't, it'll never happen. All this negativity and that doesn't have to be the case. And so I saw with my upbringing that anything is possible. One of the mottos that I share when I speak motivationally is that there's no door you can't knock on, right? What is the worst thing that's going to happen is they'll say no, and then you move on to the next door. We learn way more from failure than we do from success. Not taking an opportunity to do something, sitting around and waiting for all the ducks to line up to do something is really a waste of time. So it's like baby steps to do things. And look, we're here we're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time, right? So we really need to take advantage of that, because you really don't know. And time is the only thing we can't get back, right? And so time with others doing epic shit, how much better? There's nothing better than that.
Absolutely. I mean, just in the conversation I've learned, failure will make the success. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Lean on others, especially mentors. Build out that network. Knock on doors. But keep on learning and stay curious. Well, Peter, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
For everything. And where can people connect with you then if you have 180,000 followers?
I think it's 179,900. Instagram, Einstein of Wall Street. On Twitter, it's Einstein of Wall Street. On TikTok, it's Einstein of Wall Street. I'm easy to reach. You can Google me. I answer all my DMs. I do work with people in social media, but I do all of my stuff myself.
Thank you.
I'm on the board of many, many different companies.
So we
Most
can
of them
find
women.
you. You're very accessible.
If you
is what
look
I'm
up
hearing.
in the sky, kind of like Batman, if you look up in the sky and flash the Einstein light, I'll show up.
Well, thank you.
My pleasure.